One was like a forever.
Like ever ago? Ever and ever?
All right. You're listening to RynoRyder's podcast. And this is The Word. This is episode 1. This is a show that fights to tear down that alluring curtain of Hollywood. It talks about what life is really like living in Los Angeles and being an independent filmmaker. I'm your host, Ryan McCoy. Let's get started. So this is episode 1. The title of this episode is This Is My Why. Since this is the first episode, I'm going to give you a little bit about my background, who I am, where I'm from, what I'm going to talk about, why I decided to start this podcast / internet show, why to dive into this. I'm going to talk about my recent diagnosis of being bipolar, my mental breakdown I had it's going to be a year ago to the day that this show is going to be launched, which I'm very proud of. How it changed my life forever and how I'm now stronger and on a new path of enlightenment and unstoppability, really. With me in the room here is Josh Boyer.
Hey.
Josh is my friend and a business partner and somebody I admire and respect very much.
Thank you.
He's going to chime in when needed. While I just kind of go through the show and what we're going to talk about, right? All right. So right now, this is normally the opportunity where I would plug a sponsor. That sponsor right now is nobody, because I didn't really go out and try to find one or ask. But if you'd like to be a sponsor, this is where I would give you a well-written plug for whatever it is or whomever it is that's sponsoring the show. The format of the show, or of each episode, I'm going to highlight 3 topics under the subject of whatever I'm talking about in the episode. Today, 3 topics. Number 1, like I said, is my background. Number 2, my bipolar. And number 3, my new beginning. So let's get jumped into topic 1. Let's see. I was born in Everett, Washington, 1980. Youngest of 3. I have an older brother, 5 years older. Sister is 10 years older. My parents got split up or separated, when I was like 8 or 9. Dad wasn't around too much before. Basically, my point is I spent a lot of time by myself, right? Going out playing in the woods. Legos were my jam, for sure. But like looking back, when I look back, to those times, I can see where my creativity came from, and also being raised basically by my mom, just me and her, because my siblings were so much older that by the time I was 7 or 8, they were nearing high school or in high school and stuff like that. So I spent a lot of time fucking building shit, creating and telling and telling stories from a young age, even before I picked up my first camera. I can remember pretty significantly how movies, once I discovered movies, they became this magical thing for me, right? It was like, you know what it is? I've been thinking about this. You know what it was? Movies have never disappointed me. Like, there's bad movies, right?
Yeah.
But like the spirit of what movies can do has never let me down, ever. Like, and so let me go back. So the reason that I can put this together and I know this now is that I remember my grandfather. I have a very weird time dealing with death. When my grandfather died, I was like, my parents had just split up, so like 8, 9, something like that. You know what I mean? And where he was at the hospital, he's in the hospital for months and stuff like that. And I was asleep, like on the bed next to him. He had passed away. He was in like a coma or whatever, but he like actually passed away when I was asleep. And a strange thing, I'll because this I'm gonna talk about get some spiritual. I'm gonna get spiritual, at least on this episode especially. But I remember right before I woke up, I had this dream, or not a dream. It was like a visitation. It was his wife died. I never met her. So she died like literally like the year before I was born or whatever. And she fucking came to me, like in my dream, asleep. Like, I'm here to take Grandpa. And I woke up and he was gone. And my brother was like sobbing over his body. My brother took a lot of guilt, or at least he did at the time, I think. My mom obviously upset. And it was just the three of us, I think, in the room. And he was dead. And that was the first time I dealt with death, you know what I mean? Ever. And I loved him and he was great, but like, it's not like he was like those old stories of like, oh, that great, my grandpa, like I would always ride and sit on his lap and you know what I mean, shit like that. It was just, he lived in Texas and then for the last couple of years we had to move him up for like health reasons. But he died and then, we were there for an hour, whatever, however long it was. And then you go home and it's like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or something like that. I had built a fort out of the couches, like cushion, like in the living room, put together this like big like bed, thing that was right in front of the TV. And so I went down there and, my brother's in his room and my mom was like doing the dishes. And I was like, well, what do I do now? Like my papa's dead, what do I do now? So I remember going upstairs and asking my mom permission if it was okay to watch a movie because I didn't know what else to do. And I was like, is that like disrespectful? You know what I mean? Like, he's literally died like hours ago and I wanted to watch a fucking movie. And she said, no, absolutely not. Go right ahead. And so I remember I watched fucking Empire Strikes Back. Like, of course I watched Empire Strikes Back. It's the best fucking Star Wars movie ever. So yeah, I picked the best and the one that just, makes me escape. And so looking back on it, it's fucking crazy to see where I am at now, what I'm doing with my life, what like my passion, everything. And I'm able to go back and be like, they've always been there. Stories have been how I fucking escaped. That's what like raised me. That's what saved me, If I was fucking miserable or sad or somebody died or whatever, I went and watched a movie. It made me feel better. So, I just recently like kind of, I think, discovered that. So basically, I don't want to go through a fucking life story. I'm writing a book right now, which doesn't actually involve the early childhood either. So it's not very important. Basically, I put it this way. Like, I didn't have a very hard time in high school. Like, I'm 6'2", I'm white, I'm a pretty damn good-looking son of a bitch. And I was high school quarterback, captain of the football team. Like,
not to toot my own horn.
But I was a fucking piece of shit. Like, I was such a piece of shit. So anyway, I just always wanted to make movies my entire life. That's like literally the only thing I truly gave a shit about. I was just naturally good at like other stuff, you know what I mean? And my brother, 5 years older than me, exceptionally good at it, taller, way bigger, more success in football, same position. Do you know the reason I got picked or I moved to quarterback, I was wide receiver first, which, by the way, I think I could have gotten a college scholarship as a wide receiver. It was like 7th grade football, and we needed a backup quarterback. And because my brother was one of our coaches was also coaching at the high school, and so he said, and my brother was playing quarterback in high school, like his senior year, and so he said, Ryan's gonna, his brother's quarterback, he can play quarterback. And I was like, what? And I remember, like, dude, I couldn't get it. It took me 40 tries to fucking catch the snap. Like, I was like super nervous. So, like, I grew, but like I said, like, I just naturally was just like, athletics were good to me, and athletics were what I got praised for and accolades for. We talked about this on the fucking drive over here from my dad. I've been working my entire life, trying to please my dad. Anytime I was telling Josh in the car right up here, anytime I made it like a little movie or, fucking stop motion, with Legos and stuff like that, pretty advanced shit for like a 8-year-old, and showed him, I never got the it was always like, oh, the fucking camera shaky, or, that's stupid, or, oh, why did you do that? Why? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just being creative, and this is the only way I know how. So, where are we at on time? Oh, we're doing pretty good. Jesus, I'm only 12 minutes in. So, let me go back a little bit. Go back right before high school, and I'll tell you where. I'll tell you what pushed me through college, because I did go to film school and stuff, and that's what the show was about. It was about movies and Hollywood and filmmaking and everything like that. So I should probably talk about that.
I want to bring it up.
7th grade, teacher's name was Mrs. Williamson, and the last class of the day she had us do creative writing, and like everybody fucking hated it, but like I loved it, and then like we'd sit down for like 40 minutes and write a story, any story you want, like, and while everybody else was writing like 2-page, 5-page, whatever stories, I'm writing like 30, 40, 50-page fucking, huge stories, aliens taking over kids' bodies and fucking all this, stuff. But she would read them and like give her honest feedback on it, you know what I mean? And I remember, because my mom worked at the church, which was connected to the school. I went to Catholic school, private school for 9 years, K through 8. And so I would sometimes, after school got out like 2:30, right? And my mom got off work at 5, so I would just hang around the fucking school, dude, and like roam the hallways and just like fun stuff. But Mrs. Williamson would be after, and I would sit down and talk to her a little bit more, and she'd give me like real notes and encouraging, like, this story's great. So she did a lot for me. So that got me, that was like, okay, I can write. That's cool. Never really thought about pursue, like I didn't write like at home and shit like that. You know what I mean? I only wrote in that class, but I just knew I really liked it. And actually what I started to do, because we had this little camcorder fucking mini VHS thing that, and here's a funny thing. I don't know, like my parents, like at that time when they bought the camera, like, they were already like done basically, you know what I mean, a couple years away from like divorce and stuff like that. I had no clue, absolutely zero, and I have no reason, or I had no idea why all of a sudden they're like, yeah, Dad bought a camcorder, and I was like, what? Why? We never went on family vacations, like we didn't, you know what I mean? We like, there's like 8 pictures of me as a kid, I feel like, It wasn't our thing. And so they bought this camcorder, and I remember feeling like, I think they bought this for me. Like, was this like their sign of like they knew I wanted to make movie? You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I really, really, really remember it was something really special, because I took to that camera like a fucking fish to water, and nobody else in the family did it. Like, nobody. I went through the manual. I learned every filter, every effect. I like stretched it to and it had like just the dumbest shit. But I was like, oh, if I go to this, it makes everything look red. I'll make that look like the POV of an alien. You know what I mean? Use that effect, like fucking anything. I was like, MacGyver with the shit. And it had this like, the lens was here, but the camera could tilt, so you could turn it back to face yourself, and then it would like switch in camera and stuff, which is funny because all of our phones do that now. But yeah, man, I just felt like I had no idea why they got me this or why they got this camcorder, but I fucking took to it, and I just started doing it. And like I said, nobody touched it. There are like 0 home movies of us, you know, from it, and it was crazy, but I had a camera. So then once I found like, oh, these stories are entertaining in like 7th to 8th grade, you know, I was like, well, I'll just film this story. And so me and my friends, it started like 7th, 8th grade, and we were like, I was making like, putting together like 10, 15-minute little movies, just cutting in camera, start, okay, get that, stop, start, okay, stop. And so then, but obviously athletics and sports, I was raised with it, because my brother, you know, in his path, I was following along in the same path. I got fucking picked to play quarterback because he was quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I went, so then high school came, and I had a breeze, right? Like I told you, I just played quarterback, did that, you know, athletics, just followed all the teachers knew me. I got away with so much shit. I got away with anything I fucking wanted because I was Sean McCoy's little brother for at least the first few years, you know what I mean? And it was just fucking, I mean, I look back on it and I'm pissed. I'm like, makes me mad at like who I was in high school. And, you know, actually my entire life, most of it. But instead of going out and partying and drinking like everybody, all my friends would do, all the popular kids, you know what I mean, all my football friends, stuff like that, I'd make movies or watch movies or play video games with, you know, Danny Luxmore, we were like at the hip, inseparable, you know. And so out of 4 years of high school, 2 semesters each year, I took video production class, which is the only class offered that was anything remotely found interesting. Like literally every single other class I ever took in high school, I could have given 2 fucks about. But video production, I took it 7 out of 8 semesters. And I would have taken it 8, but as a freshman going in, you couldn't take video production. You had to do, you know what I mean, like whatever 6 ones. And that's when I discovered Mr. Corbett. And let me tell you about Mr. Corbett. I saw in him, this is at like 14, 15 years old. I distinctly remember it, right? And I remember being like nervous to meet him and like take his class, because I was the only freshman in the class, you know what I mean? But they were like, you know, juniors, seniors, and everybody took it as like, it's an easy A. You know what I mean? I can fuck around with the camera and there was some really, some clever shit that came out. But like nobody like wanted to make movies, and I was like, oh, this is like film school class, you know? My senior year, I'll get back to what I was going to, but my senior year in high school, like the last semester, out of 6 periods in the day, I fucking shit you not, go back and ask my friends, I slept 5 out of 6 periods. And video productions was the last period, and I'd wake up and be like, okay, yay, I get to go do that. I didn't give a shit. And like I was sleeping, head down on my desk. like right in front of the teacher, like just not giving a fuck, because I knew, you know, like whatever, like what's going to happen? I'm not going to graduate. No, that wasn't, you know, because I was like jock, and it just didn't hit my head, so I didn't care at all about any other fucking class. And it was Mr. Corbin. He taught me in each one. So going back to that first time I took his class, and I was intimidated as fuck, like super intimidated, you know, like not only were the other kids like physically bigger than me, but also like way, you know, they were playing varsity football, and like I'm like this little kid, and I'm taking video production. Why, you know? But I remember when he like encouraged me, it was different than how everybody else would encourage me. What I mean by that is that, like, you know, my brother had known him, and they had formed a bond and a friendship, you know what I mean? And so I was kind of going into that again. I was following in my brother's, you know, footsteps, and just like, oh, this is a breeze, kind of coasting. Of course I'm going to get praised. I'm Ryan fucking McCoy. You know what I mean? I'm Sean McCoy's little brother. Like, of course I'm going to get praised. So, but when he saw something in me, dude, he just fucking saw talent. And he was like, Rhino, you need to go to fucking Hollywood. You need to go to LA. And nobody had ever, you know, given me that type of encouragement, or even thrown it as like, put it up as an offer, as an idea. You know what I mean? Like, do you understand? Like, I mean, you're small town. I mean, everybody out here has their story. You know, I guess this is my LA story, you know, whatever. But, like, I want to try to, like, hit really hard on the point that, like the power a human being has through their words or actions to forever influence the life of another human being is pretty fucking incredible. Like, when you break it down like that, that's fucking incredible, right? Yes, Josh, I'm looking at you. I need some reassurance
on this. Yes.
That's like incredible, right?
Well, I mean, like you said, there's been many movies that have changed my life or changed my perspective on something.
So, that's all I needed, though. That's all. You know the funny thing about me? I only need one person to think it's a good idea for me to fucking run with something.
You actually need that one?
I just need one. I just need one. Like, I write a fucking, you know, 100-page screenplay. I'm cursing a lot. I write a 100-page screenplay, 150-page screenplay, and you know, I just need one person to read it and be like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like, it's good. So now I can hammer it, refine it, you know, like go and make it, whatever, something like that. So that's all I needed. I mean, it was game over. And he told me this my freshman year, like the first time I took the class, and I was like, okay, well, if you think so, then I will. So he became like my mentor, and like my sophomore year, the second year, I was like, I want to fucking make a movie. And this is like VHS tape. Like, I mean,
old school.
Old tape to tape editing. If you don't know, if you're a youngster out there and you're listening, basically what it was is 2 VCRs with a VHS.
You might have to explain what a VCR is.
Yeah, it's a VHS cassette tape. Google it. You would have the raw footage on one deck. You would hit play, and on the other deck you'd have a blank tape, and you'd hit play and record, and then you'd stop, and then that's how you edited. So I got super ambitious, as I tend to do. Josh, you know that.
Well, it's not like you only picked the hardest industry in the world to make.
Hardest, yeah. And I fucking decided to do as much as I can. Yeah, we're good. So I got fucking super ambitious, and so I was like, I'm gonna make a fucking movie, and it's called Dark Nights, and it's about two hitmen who get a job to go shoot the scientist at this house. They shoot him from afar, they snipe him, but he's not dead. So when they go to investigate, all of a sudden these zombies come out, and they're like, holy shit. And there's like, dude, there's like a 12-minute action sequence. I'm not joking. Like 8 different locations, like zombies coming out, you know, like I would use the same zombies, and these are all just like my friends and stuff. Again, I'm sure a lot of people have done this, everybody in the film industry, but it's just fun thinking about them because I made an hour and 6-minute long movie. Like, that's insane. I didn't know anybody, like adults. I didn't know adults that had done that. Nobody, you know. So I was like super, super, super proud of myself. And like my friends thought it was dope as shit, you know, and we had like a viewing party and we were all there and, you know, eating Alfie's pizza and stuff and like watching. It's like, oh, there's Cronin. Oh, there's Casey again. You know, oh, that was so funny when we were doing that. It was like a big hit, and it took me, because I had to do other shit like I didn't want to do, really, deep down, like athletics, sports. I didn't really care. My heart wasn't in it.
Go to school.
Or go to any other school, you know what I mean? Like, or homework, are you kidding me? I hated homework, like never did it, just all of that stuff. I didn't care. And I was alone. I lived with my mom. It was me and her. By this time in high school, it was just me and her. And my mom just pouring out positivity, you know, and like reinforcement, yet going through a difficult time in her life. Looking back now, I can, you know, identify that. But, and me not knowing, me being oblivious to it. So my mom and I didn't have like a super tight, let's have these amazing emotional talks type relationship. She was just my fucking biggest fan. She was just a cheerleader that I would like, okay, sweet, I am the best looking person in the world. I am the greatest. Like, every single movie I do is cool. Oh, it's cool if dude. So, I'll tell you a story about this one. I lit this, like for the climax of this movie, like right, the alien body, whatever, is dead, and so our hero pours gasoline on him, lights him on fire. So I took gasoline in the driveway without my mom's downstairs inside the house watching TV. I light the entire driveway on fire, and then when I finished editing the movie and stuff, I was like really proud to show her, and so I was like, Mom, you want to see? And she watches. She gets to the end. She's like, "Is that gas? Is that my driveway?" Oh my God! Like, I was like, and I said, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission, and that is like my code as a fucking filmmaker. You know what I mean? I'm willing to do whatever it takes, So anyway, the high school was super creative, and then basically what happened for the next, I went to fucking Art Institute, and I guess I can go there. We got time, right?
You're 30 minutes in.
So let me get to college. So after high school, my dad didn't want, or like I said, I wanted to move to LA and go make movies. He said, I want you to go to a university. His words. So I went to the same college that, shocker, my brother went to do the same, follow, you know, the easy path. And so I did that. It didn't turn out very well. I got kicked out, suspended, you know, like after the first year. And then just like fucked around for a couple years. And then when I was like 20, my friend Danny Luxmore, who we were kind of, you know, we kind of separated a bit, as all friendships do. He was like, let's go to Art Institute in Seattle, and you can go to college for film. And I was like, 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to go to college, make my dad happy, and I get to go make movies. Annoyingly enough, you still had electives that you had to take, like math and English and stuff. Guess who didn't do them? Well, I got out of most 2 of them. I got out of it because you could do a test. I'm like, I'm not doing fucking English. I know the English language better than anybody I know. Like, you know, I'm not doing algebra. Like, are you kidding me? And so you could take like a pre-test, and I just fucking, because I knew everything. Like, I just didn't care. So basically what happened in college is I met a group of people that it was really great, that all just wanted to make movies and were from all over the world and different slices of life. And so I was always kind of the guy that everybody knew, like, or would just get shit done, the leader. I'm a natural born leader. Like, it's just in me, you know. I just have to be doing something I'm passionate about. And so I decided to basically we should all make a movie, you know. I'd write it. I just broke up with my girlfriend and was in a weird emotional place, like my dad, you know, like kicked me out of the house, you know what I mean? Like we fucking butt heads. And so I was one semester away from graduating, all set to grade, like 4 weeks to graduating. And the dean pulled me in the office and he was like, sorry, you're not going to graduate. I fucked up. And long story short, basically I still got to like walk and graduate, or walk the, you know, cap and gown and all that BS with my guys, you know, with the people I'd gone to school with the whole time. But I still had to come back for one class. And so I said, well, okay, well, I'm going to take a semester off, and then I'll come back and do one class. But in that semester, I got him to write me, basically give me full permission, free reign to all the gear, all the, like, anything I wanted at any time, because he felt so bad. And so I used that opportunity and I took all that gear and I made my first movie. It's called Black, and it never really released. It's terrible. It's got some stuff. It's got some stuff that I like. But it was that same, and once I make a decision to go do something, like I said, it's like I need that one person just to say yes, like I think it's a good idea, and I'll go. And I literally I'm unstoppable. Like, and I do whatever it takes to finish it. So I finished a movie. So it was like that same kind of feeling of in high school. Like, I don't know anybody that's made a feature film. This is in Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, and we were in with like the production. There was like this one big production house that they thought they were hot shit, and they got all the top editors in town and stuff like that. Guess what? They never made a movie, and are probably working at Jack in the Box now. Fucking dicks. I hated that group. That, you know what I mean? Because it was like, I don't know. I just hated them. But so I did it, and then I took that movie and I finally moved to LA, and I lasted about a year. I should have stayed, but I didn't. I went back home, and this is in this book I'm writing. I get more detailed and more progressive. So, but I'm not going to touch on it too hard. But basically, long story short, I end up back in LA. I'm living in Hollywood. I got the gusto again. I start working at this place, Baja Cantina, in Venice, and I meet Josh Boyer. And I also met, it was just, we were young, we were in our 20s, and like everybody had some fire, and everybody wanted to be creative and make a movie, or, make movies and tell stories. And I saw the opportunity, and I went out and made my second movie. And that was Evidence. And that's a whole other story that, I can really get into. But long story short, nothing happened from it, but I had done it. I still don't know. I still know very few people of my level and caliber right now, of where I'm at in this career, like, and in my circle and pool, know somebody that's like written and produced and done an entire feature film and gone through and sold it and distributed and marketing and making the website and the Facebook page and the I don't know anybody that's done that.
I mean, how many people have we met in Hollywood?
I know like crews, you know what I mean? Like there's 6 or 7, you know what I mean, or 2 or 3, but like one person, like, yes, I had help, but everybody was looking at me. If I didn't move and execute, nothing was going to happen. The movie would not get made. You know what I mean? So, like, like, yes, I had incredible amounts of help. I couldn't have done it without everybody. But all of them couldn't have done it without that one person that just, like, fucking went and go, you know? Again, the leadership thing. Leaders are important, I guess, you know? As human beings, like, if you're in a group, like, I don't know, we just all, like, have different strengths, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to sound, like, arrogant or cocky or machismo or beat my chest or anything like that. Very far from it. I have in the past. I did for most of my life. That's kind of how I felt about myself, arrogant, you know, and stuff. Now I'm just happy that I'm alive, and that's it, you know? And let's get into that. Let me tell you why I am happy to be alive, and how my life changed a year ago today. Basically, after evidence, you know, I went through whatever, depression, not depression, I'm not depressed, but like just a low time of like, I expected so much to come out of evidence, and so much did not. I had very high expectations for it. I had a lot of eggs in one basket type thing, thinking I had, you know, made it, I'm the shit, and I was wrong. So I took a hit for a couple years, got married to Abby. We had our first kid. Yeah, by the time she got pregnant and stuff, I started to feel a fire, you know what I mean? Like, I built my son's room, like built an entire room, so that, like, you know, my mind was super occupied, you know, and the thing is so fucking true, physics, like a body in motion requires less energy to continue in motion than it does to start. So once you start doing things, wake up, make the bed, wake up, fold your, you know, shirt, or hang your shirt back up, you know what I mean? Like, just like, if you just do these little steps just to get the engine going, the train leaving the station, then the bigger ones, you're just going to go right, and you're going to look at your checklist and be like, oh, fuck, I got to edit this whole video. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I've already done 12 things today. I feel good about myself. I feel like I'm on a roll. I'm going to attack it. So I started to build up this momentum, and basically just culminated, I'll just get right to the chase, of when Josh entered the picture. Well, I mean, Josh and I had been friends, you know, and things like that, but we hadn't really done, you know, much, and it was like, it was Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. It was on Thanksgiving 2016, and we were, you know, had eaten everything and drinking, you know, and stuff, and we were talking about our frustrations at the industry and stuff like that, and I remember looking at you and saying, like, why don't we start a production company? And we kind of like, what? You know, like, yeah, it's a good, again, is it a good idea? I just need one of you to say, you know, it was you, me, and Abby, just like somebody say it's a good idea. Everybody said yes, and Abby was like, we need, like, Daniel, who knows the gear and stuff. I called Daniel that night, told him, and he was like, all right, I'm in. And that was it, right? And that was like the spark. That's all I needed. All I needed was somebody fucking, yeah, it's a good idea, and I got your back. All right, I'm going to fucking go with it. So we had a very good first year in terms of, I mean, not financially or anything, but like in terms of like we produced about 5 videos, I think, you know, short films. Like, we went to AFM that year, was a big, that's when we got The Office. Like, we pushed all the chips in. And that was cool, like coming around the corner and seeing RynoRyder Boyer Productions on the sign. I remember, I was like, that's dope. You know, I'm proud of us.
Oh, yeah.
We went to Sundance for the first year. I called Josh a week before and said, hey, I think it's a good idea. We should probably go to Sundance, because if we want to be with the big boys, we got to go where the big boys are. And I was right. It was a 3-year investment, you know, ROI, but...
Yeah, but go from 1 year of having no idea what we're doing to now we're on invite.
Exactly.
Lists.
Yeah. So, little advice for filmmakers: go to Sundance and go every year. I mean, we fucking drove out there. Like, Josh found an Airbnb. He ponied up the money for it.
On the way
Should
out.
I tell him the wine story? The bottle of wine? I'm gonna tell you a funny story real quick. The first year at Sundance, Josh and I are like schmoozing, like slipping 20s to dormant, like whatever we can to try to get in, just like get a taste and see what's going on, and talking to everybody. And we met these really cool locals. They're like doctors or whatever, and just had buttloads of money, but were super cool. And we played them in shuffleboard, and we were dominating the shuffleboard in that bar. Like people were coming up to us, and we were like, "Yeah, we'll play." And so we got to know them, and they were like super cool. And then so we're walking past. Josh and I are walking past this restaurant, and it's like windows, you can see inside, and we see him sitting at the table, and we're like, "Oh, let's go say hi." And Josh and I were on our way to a different bar or whatever, and we come in, we're like, "Oh, we just want to say hi." And they're like, sit, eat, drink. And there's like open bottles of wine all over the table, like killer fucking steaks. And I'm like, "Are you sure?" But it was so good. I'm like, "Yes, and more, you know what I mean?" And they're like, four more bottles of wine, and literally probably ordered a dozen bottles of wine in the hour or so that we were there.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, helicopter.
Yeah, helicopter.
And so I'm like, and I felt bad because Josh was paying for everything, but I think it had like $500 in my account, right? And I was like, it's the right thing to do. Like, even though these guys weren't producers, not filmmakers, they were locals, they were loaded, but it was just, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to go buy one of those wine, and so I gotta go to the bathroom. Got the waiter, gave him my card, he runs it, comes in, and I'm thinking like, it's going to be $100, maybe, you know what I mean, with tip and stuff like that, and maybe it's like $40 to $80 bottles of wine. $222, and my heart fucking sank. But I signed it and I did it, and so that was the wine story. Anyway, so we went. We're going to Sundance and all that kind of stuff. AFM was a payoff, technically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We made contacts, and imagine, what I thought about the other day? What if we went with the other guys that were up north out of Vancouver, with how things would turn?
Oh.
Not Triple G.
Yeah.
Triple G. Triple Malo. No.
Name drop.
Yeah. So we had contact, like we were set to like co-produce, like people were on board with our shit. Like they were like the ideas and scripts and stuff, and we're like, holy crap, we're gonna make our first feature film. And then it all happened. And I got time. We're doing good. So let me tell you about that night real quick. Again, in my book, it's super detailed, super broke down, detail
Well, if you tell them everything, they're not going to buy the book. What's the point of that?
I don't care. I just need to get it out there. So months. Look, okay, I'll break it down like this. Something in me was changed. I felt something. You know what I mean? Like something was off. I was getting these signs and signals, and I was like, my brain was on overload. Numbers, pattern recognition, that kind of stuff, And I went crazy. Did you ever see? You came up there with Micah, remember? And that board. And I was trying to explain everything to you guys, and he looked at me.
Style. That's what you on us.
Yeah. Like I had a wall covered of Post-it notes, and I'm like rapid fire and all this stuff, and they're looking at me like, "What?" And
we're just trying to shoot
I think I scared Micah.
Episode. Oh, you definitely did.
And I was like, "They don't get it. They don't get it." And so what did I do? I decorated. You never saw my full office. I have video of it. Know what it is, but I was telling, basically what I was doing, Josh, is I was telling a story. Like I took the boxer and I outlined a fucking 7, like each wall or each section was a different piece or act, or and it had all these different characters, recurring characters, and it happened across space, different space and time. Like one was set in the future, one was set in the past, one, you know what I mean? Like, and it was all like current event. It was like this character is Trump. This character is so, you know what I mean? It was like very current state of the world, like things that were happening and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard recently, but there's some shit going And I was like, I need to tell the story. I need to tell the story because it's what I'm meant to do. Like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is talking to me and like through my hand telling a story. So I finally invited Daniel up, and I was like, he'll understand. And he was like, you're fucking crazy. He's like, you're being manic. And that was the first time I ever heard that, you know what I mean? Like anything bipolar, mentalism, never even really thought about that, you know, before. I was like, no, I'm just like passionate, you know? And so, what was that? So Daniel came up, and I tried to explain it to him, and this, by this point, like for a week straight, Abby was like terrified of me, like afraid. I was locking myself in my office and just fucking working, not sleeping, waking up at midnight, working for 3 or 4 hours. You know what I mean? He's like, you gotta stop for your fucking wife's sake. And so I tore everything down, and kind of calmed down a bit. And Daniel and I started putting my energy towards the movie that we're getting ready to do. And Daniel and I were working on the script, and it was a lot more positive. I was doing more of my Kid in the Canyon video. You know what I mean? Like I was staying active and creative, but trying to do it in a more positive way. And so it was a Tuesday. Daniel came up to the house to work on the script for 4 or 5 hours. We did. We were a success. We knew we were going. We felt good. We said, why don't we go to the fire pit, smoke some weed, drink some wine, and talk about, you know, our expectations for, you know, or what projects we want to do and stuff like that. So that's exactly what we did. Cannon was asleep. Bruce and Sandy were in the hot tub. Abby was watching TV. Daniel and I were outside, and Daniel said how he had this idea. He wanted to tell like this epic or do this Game of Thrones style TV show, but about the story of David, the life of David, like David and Goliath from the Bible. And I was like, I only knew David and Goliath. And he's like, you don't know David's story? It's fucking crazy. It's epic. And I was like, no, tell me. And like literally the last time my wife saw me sane, I came inside and I poured her a glass of wine. She was very, you know what I mean? Kids, you know what I mean? She like, oh, I get to watch my TV show. Like she was happy. She was comfy. You want to refill of wine, honey? Yeah. Oh, Daniel and I are just outside talking. Like dead serious. Like I'm like super calm and just happy. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, Daniel's gonna tell me this story. And he starts telling it to me, and like shit changed. Like it was. I mean, the easiest way I can describe it is like when you hear that voice in your head, right? Your subconscious, whatever, you know what I mean? That voice everybody has, you know, and they talk to themselves inside their head, because everybody talks to themselves in their head, correct? Unless I'm really crazy. Like the trust that you have for that voice in your head, that same trust, and you could tell, so like you could tell it's you, like you know, it's you talking, but it doesn't sound like your voice. I gotta look at you. I can't. I gotta see a face.
It's hard not to look.
So like, but you have the same, like, but it's significantly different. It's like the difference between my voice and your voice. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a voice, everybody's, you know, fingerprint. It's like that's me, but that's. This is what was happening. And it said, sit back, pay attention, listen, because what you're going to hear and what's going to happen to you tonight is very important. I'm going to tell you what you are meant to do on this earth. And you're going to have to you're going to have to experience the most pain you've ever felt in your entire life. But there are others here for this night, for this moment, and I'm here. You're going to be safe, but you're going to have to get through it. Because you have a big purpose and a big responsibility in this life. If you choose to accept this, I'm not trying to sound like Mission Impossible, like literally, you can say no. It was very, like, you don't have to do this. You do not have to do this. But you're going to have to die and come back. You're going to have to die. You're going to have to say yes to me. You're going to have to give up. And I fucking fought it. I thought about it. I thought the whole time. By the way, Daniel's telling the story of fucking David, and the story is completely relating to everything that I posted. That whole story, all the pieces were connecting, everything, and it was like, I need to. The world needs to hear a story. That for happiness. Just like like the responsibility, like the responsibility that I was getting, the scope of it was like, holy fuck. Like that's it, like it's going to change the world. It's going to change the world. Whatever it is I'm going to do is going to change the world. That's what it was telling me. And so I fought it, and I'm like, I'm never going to see Abby again. I'm never going to see my son. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like I had a lot of things. Like I wanted to make so many movies. They'll make. I mean, they're all written. You know what I mean? Somebody, like, if I fucking died that night, you don't think one of my movies, Bury Me, wouldn't get fucking made and nominated and I'd get a fucking Oscar? You know what I mean? At some point, whatever. Like, I thought about that, and I thought about everything, and I fucking said, literally, like, with kind of this, like, almost chuckle, like, thing of, like, okay, I'll do it. And I went fucking crazy, and I died. Like, I stripped my clothes off, thrown in the dirt, and screamed at the top of my lungs, take me, take me, take me, I'm ready, do it, do it, do it, do it. Like, because I was like, I jumped, you know what I mean? And I was super, super fucking scared. But I was like, I knew the responsibility, I knew it was too big. Like, you know what I mean? Like changing the world, like, I was telling me that. And so I said, okay, fucking, but do it now, do it now, do it now. And finally, dude, something just fucking snapped. And it told me, okay, go to your son. And I turned, and by, Daniel screaming, like, trying to call me, like, what the fuck is going on? And I ran inside, and I went into my back office, and I saw the door, my office door, and again, the whole story, and that above that door, I always had family above the door, because I would, in my office, I would get crazy and be like, out of this world type shit. But when I walked out of that door, out of my office and into the house and stuff, like my family, I needed to fucking reel it back. I needed to hold it in until I could go and do it. And so I, like, ironically chuckled. I was like, of course, that's the door. That's a sign. And so I fucking just burst through it, like Hulk smash, dude. Like, by the way, Abby was just chilling on a Tuesday night, drinking wine, watching TV, and her husband comes bursting through the fucking door naked. It was crazy. So for the next, like, however hour long, and again, like, super details, I'm really I'm writing in the book. I'm writing this part right now. It's not easy because I want to try to include everything, like every thought, because, by the way, I remember everything that I did and everything that happened. It's not like I blacked out or anything. That's the scary fucking part, is like, and I was like multiplying, like, stop time and shit like that. And by the way, I've never done a hard drug in my entire life. Josh, back me up. I am not a fucking drug dude.
We
like,
smoke
weed and drink a lot. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable for me. Sell it. No.
You're at 56 minutes.
Yeah, I got time.
Okay.
So where was I at? Oh, so basically the next like 4 or 5 hours, like the details of that are laid in the book that you can go read. I'm plugging hard for the book. I think, and it's gonna be released. I think I'm gonna self-publish it on Amazon, by the way, just to fucking stick it to it. Yeah, it's called My Black Angel.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, My Black Angel.
Because you're gonna try to look up your book and be like, I don't even know what it's called. He keeps trying to talk about it.
Yeah, look up the hashtag My Black Angel. I'm actually every day I work on it. I post a photograph on Instagram and wherever else with the hashtag My Black Angel, or go to RynoRyder. I'm sponsoring this episode. RynoRyder. So like the next few hours, laid out. Long story short, man, I ended up in double handcuffed to a gurney, naked, being wheeled out of my house, spewing like just the craziest fucking shit. And it was Sandy's birthday, and Abby, this is the best, like pulling me out, and Abby, Sandy, and Bruce are all sitting there. Sandy and Bruce are our neighbors and best friends, amazing. They're all three standing there, and Abby watches her husband get wheeled out as I'm and she looks at the time, and it's like midnight, and she realizes it's Sandy's birthday, and she turns to Sandy and goes, "Happy birthday, Sandy." Like that right there, like if you get that, that's Abby. Like that her personality is so funny. And then, like no insurance, like everybody thought I was bath salts and OD, like shrooms, like nobody, you know what I mean? And so like I was kicked out on the streets at like 6 a.m. and had to call Abby, "Can you come pick me up?" Like no clothes or any, you know what I mean? Like fucking shaking, like physically zero. So, I mean, from literally that moment on, I like to say it hit the reset button on having any fucking clue of who I was, who Ryan McCoy was at 36 years old, for 36 years of my life, like thinking I was this other person and, and all that stuff. And then had everything stripped out, like gave it all away, and then was left with nothing. And so then I just started like finding who I was. I wrote 6 screenplays in less than a year. Yeah. I edited a book, 300 something page book. I mean, the creativity went off the fucking charts, like out of fucking control. And it really hasn't slowed down or stopped to this day. And I don't see it ever will, because I've discovered me. I've found who I am. I've found my voice and what I want. I also have a duty to listen to that voice from that night. I can't not. Like, and doctors, anybody in the world can say whatever they want. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, whatever they want, like about, oh no, you're bipolar, you're crazy, you're manic, mood. Oh, that was a new one, mood disorder or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's a million of it. Bottom line, we don't fucking know. We just know everybody's got shit going on in their head. Mine happens to be wired off. I'm not like a lot of people. I think that can be viewed from my content I'm posting on YouTube. But I can't not listen to that voice. What if it's right? That's what I just say. What if it's right, dude? Well, no, it's impossible. It's too no. It's what if it's right? Like, you weren't there, you didn't experience or hear it. You know what I mean? So like, like doctors, whatever. It's like I can't take anyone's opinion because nobody else was up here that night. So, a handful of people physically saw me, so I can go back and talk about it all you want. And same thing, man, I just see it in people's fucking eyes that don't, think I'm full of shit. That's like, it was probably bad stuff, we're smoking weed, that, or drink, you know what I mean? Like, no, people, like, I was like crawling around like the Exorcist, like on the kitchen floor. It was insane. So that's this, and then I guess this will sum up the episode nicely. That's my why. What if that voice is right? I can't shake it. I can't get it out of my head. I can't ever forget it. And it's so vivid and so detailed. And it happened one night. You know what I mean? It never happened before in my life. And I don't think it ever will. I'm medicated. You know, this knocks me out at night, which is great. Like, I'm super regimented. I'm, you know, as regimented as I can be. I'm like, this is a year away. A year from today. A year from this moment. Right now. Well, you know, we're recording a couple weeks early. But, like, but a year from when this comes out, I've zero. The only time, the closest interaction Josh saw was like we met with. I only saw Daniel once after that night. By the way, I broke him. I broke him for good. Yeah, but we went to your house to meet.
Daniel showed up at my house the next day.
Remember, it was like I was super PTSD from it. The cops showed up like a couple weeks afterwards. Like the fucking neighbors called them because they heard screaming. It turned out to be this other, and I was alone at night, and I just put Cannon to bed, and I was like just sitting down to relax and have a cocktail, and like I was feeling good about myself. Like, you're getting stronger, Ryan. Like I could just literally feel myself physically and mentally getting stronger. And they showed up because they thought, you know, because the neighbors called, and Bruce and Sandy weren't there. I fucking super PTSD. Dude, if I were black, I would be dead for sure. You know, like, I mean, that's just a fact. Like, you know what I mean? Like, any number of things. Like, I like went at a cop that when one of the ones that he was being a dick, and I was like, "Do you want me to like fucking go, brother?" Like, I have a bit of a temper. But like, I cried all night for 3 or 4 hours. Because I was so pissed. I was so pissed that like it was a weakness. You know what I mean? Like, I was feeling so good, feeling so positive, and that happens, and it crumbled me again. It brought me right back to that moment. So PTSD, I fully understand. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, reliving a moment like that, such a traumatic moment, I completely get it. I fucking broke down, and Abby was at work. It was by myself. I was like, I dropped down to zero again. But, you know, in a year, I've turned it around, and so... You know, I'm going to end it there and just... Yeah, we're a little over an hour. That's fine. I'm just going to end it there with this and say, look, I'm really glad I finally got this out of the way. I don't want to get this deep on this show ever, but it's just, I gotta say it. If I just started a fucking podcast that's bashing Hollywood, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta give some context. So now at least it's on record. This is episode 1. So if, you know, somebody might pick up on episode 10. I'm like, what the fuck? How's this? You know, like, go back and listen to episode 1. Listen, you know, hear my story, get it out. And then future episodes, I'm gonna really break down my opinions on Hollywood and the industry. And when I say I want it to crumble, it's because it has to, and it's because it's what I was told to do. You know, Josh, you got anything?
No, I'll be around. I think you put it quite well.
All right, that's it. Normally I'm gonna try to do like a movie suggestion or something like that. You know, I got a poster, King Kong, the original 1933 black and white King Kong. It's one of my top 10 favorite movies ever. If you haven't seen it or seen it in a long time, please go back and watch it and just see the ambition. I mean, see what those guys did. 1933 is incredible. Like, incredible. 1933, like, there were barely cars on the road, weren't there? Or maybe, no, 1933 was like, it was after World War I. But, you know, I'm just saying, it was just like, you watch the innovation, the creativity, it's so fucking inspiring. It's a well-told story. In the meantime, go make a movie. That's RynoRyder out. Later.
I like it.